Bringing you the very latest from across the nation and around the world, this is your Primetime News Bulletin. A very good evening, I'm Shane Silva.
And I'm Nicola D'Souza. We start off with our headlines.
Import duty on essential goods reduced. Relief packs with essential items worth 5,000 rupees for those affected by drought. President assures that land will only be given on lease for foreign investment and not ownership. Aloysius attempts to hack Apple account using wife's mobile. National campaign to build a Sri Lanka free of corruption commences.
The 38th anniversary of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority was held under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena this afternoon.
On Tuesday last week, when the Hambantota Port Agreement was tabled in Cabinet before it was signed on Saturday, I clearly said that this agreement should contain a clause that no country or foreign company should be given ownership of a single inch of land in this project other than on a lease basis. And this clause was included in the agreement. It was also proposed that this agreement will be signed subject to amendments. That is exactly how it has been included in this agreement. Not a single government has ever tabled an agreement like this to Parliament. Although it was tabled in Parliament this time, the opposition did not make use of the opportunity, and I know why. Because they cannot speak against it based on facts. In 2014, the previous government formulated a more serious agreement than this and got approval of the Cabinet. While this agreement has drawn much scrutiny today, 6 acres of land next to the golf face was given complete ownership to Shangri-La. The former president has signed this as well. The agreement on the port city has not been signed but has been formulated. Ownership of 200 acres was given. We cannot change the 6-acre ownership of land which has been given to Shangri-La as it has been signed as a deed. I will say this today and tomorrow. No matter who criticizes us, not a single land area will be given to another country or foreign company. That is the policy. I also confirm the proposal that the eastern terminal of the highly valued Colombo port will not be given to anyone. Some have the need to quickly come back to power. Whoever wants to come to power can do so in the election to come in another 3 years. According to the constitution, there is no other way a government can come into power before that. The country's freedom and democracy has been secured. The government has decided to reduce the import taxes on several food items including fish, rice and wheat flour. The Ministry of Finance said the decision was taken at the meeting of the Cabinet Subcommittee on the Cost of Living today.
The special commodity levy for a kilogram of imported rice from 5 rupees to 25 cents. This will be in effect until the 31st of December. The special commodity levy for imported wet fish has been reduced by 50 rupees a kilogram with effect from today. Taxes of 60 to 70 rupees which were imposed on a kilogram of corn for the production of poultry food have been exempted and been replaced with a special commodity levy of 10 rupees. The Ministry of Finance said the cess tax on wheat flour has been reduced from 25 rupees to 15 rupees and the cess tax of wheat grain has been reduced from 9 rupees to 6 rupees. A decision was also taken to remove the maximum retail price on packeted flour. With the aim of providing relief to the consumer, the government has also decided to lift the taxes on 47 essential items, including rice, sugar, potatoes and big onions, and instead impose a special commodity levy on these items. The Finance Ministry further notes that the required tax amendments would be made for local food products when entering the market to protect the farmer. As per the orders of the President, the Cabinet Subcommittee on Cost of Living also decided to provide people affected by the drought a relief pack with essential items worth 5,000 rupees per month for the next 2 months.
Arjun Aloysius has attempted to enter into his iCloud account using his wife's mobile phone. At a time, he refused to provide the password to the investigators of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry. Zulfiq Farzan reports on Bondgate.
Appearing on behalf of the Attorney General's Department, Yasantha Kodagod informed the Commission that during the last 48 hours, an attempt has been made to log into Arjun Aloysius's Apple account using his wife's mobile device, which has a Singapore number. The attorney informed the Commission that this is an attempt to erase and wipe out the backup data in the account in relation to the usage of Arjun Aloysius's mobile phone. The Attorney General's Department made an application seeking an order to prohibit Arjun Aloysius or anyone on his behalf from accessing the information or data stored in his Apple account. The Commission will consider the application and issue an order tomorrow. The Commission stated if Arjun Aloysius is lying action will be taken in accordance to the law. The Attorney General's department highlighted evidence must be secured at all costs. When the attorney for Aloysius commented on possible tampering of the mobile device, the Attorney General's department said there is legal authority to examine the device. Central Bank Assistant Governor Ananda Jayalath, after listening to audio recordings played at the Commission, said he believes market rates were rigged and fixed. He testified that recordings did not indicate any negotiating between two parties, but pre-arranged deals. The EPF must always have direct deals for securities transactions, and if an intermediary is used, it should only be a money broker. Jayalath says findings of his 2016 report were based on market rates. He now says they should be termed invalid because it is now clear that the rates were manipulated at that time. The report and the investigations were done after an email was sent to the witness by Mantri Board member Krishanta Pereira. The EPF uses brokers to hide its presence in the money market to prevent other parties from knowing if the EPF is buying or selling. He said if other parties are aware of their presence, they could have transactions that are advantageous for them. When questioned on his evidence to cope, Jayalath said the views of those who were involved in the deals were given an opportunity and not his. The EPF never places dummy bids, and bids are always placed to give a better return to the EPF members. He affirmed that former Governor Arjuna Mahendran had threatened him to place Saman Kumara in the front office of the EPF. He said if he had gone against Mahendran, he would have even lost his job. Mahendran's counsel said the witness was delivering a prepared speech and a fairy tale, to which the witness denied both claims. This morning, the Commission said it received a letter from the Voice of Asia Network Private Limited claiming that it had not sold any shares to Perpetual Treasuries Limited. The Commission instructed the attorney for Perpetual Treasuries to submit all details of its purchases and investments made after the 1st of January 2015.
Ravi
Karunanayake also has to respect the Bond Commission. We are formulating the no confidence motion. We are holding discussions because MPs both in the SLFP and the UNP, who are of the stance that whoever robs should be punished, have said they will provide their support to us. We hope to do this soon.
අනිවාර්යෙන් රවි කරුණානායක ඇමතිතුමා
Ravi Karunanayake should definitely step down from his ministerial post. There is no doubt there. But if the government is trying to wash their hands by making Ravi the target, the joint opposition will not leave room for that.
ඒකාබද්ධ විපක්ෂය ඉඩ තියන්නේ නැහැ.
ලස් ගැනීමක් මේ සමාගමෙන්
This is a bribe which has been accepted. 160 million is a huge amount. We do not know what other matters which haven't been revealed as yet. But it is his responsibility to resign for the sole reason that there is an allegation against him, as he was the finance minister at the time. We do not see that kind of courtesy and gentlemanly characteristic in him.
කරුණානායක විතර පෞකාරයක් කියලා බේරෙන්නයි හදන්නේ.
They are trying to escape saying Ravi Karunanayake is the criminal here. Arjuna Mahendran is not even a citizen of this country. He was brought in by Ranil Wickremesinghe from Singapore. At the time, Arjuna said that he was asked to do this by Ranil Wickremesinghe. After the scam was committed, Ranil Wickremesinghe appointed a committee of lawyers and they submitted a report saying there was nothing wrong here and that everything was fine. Later, somehow this commission was appointed. They are trying to pass this on to Ravi Karunanayake. But no, there is a much bigger group involved in this. We must create a protest among the people urging that steps should be taken to punish all of these people who are involved.
Well, if I were he, I would have liked to have, if I had a reasonable and a very acceptable explanation, I would like to make it right at the beginning, because there's nothing for me to hide. If I had done no wrong, if I'm convinced of my own conduct, I would come and say it first, because otherwise for 1 week the issue has snowballed. 1 week ago it was not so bad. Today he's very much more in a troubled seat. He's in the naughty corner very much. So that what I would say is, you go there first, say your piece, because so far we have heard on one side. In fairness to Mr. Karunanayake, we must hear his side of the story. But he can't wait. He even waited 1 week. If I was his lawyer, I would have told him, Cham, you go and if you're wrong, you exonerate yourself, say you're wrong and quit. Then you will be held to be an honorable man. But if you stick there, try to evasive action, delay, dilatory tactics, then the ball will be more, people will be more harsh on you. So what has happened is over the week, I think the public has lost confidence in him.
Sri Lanka is increasingly in the international spotlight as a result of allegations of corruption and misappropriation. The bond scam, the ICTA scandal, the Volkswagen hoax have all made the headlines and caused immeasurable damage to the nation's reputation. But perhaps most importantly, it is a widely accepted fact that corruption is crippling Sri Lanka's ability to respond to people's basic needs. The Gammadda initiative has over the years highlighted the incidence of poverty in Sri Lanka, one that paints a very different picture to the human development indices we are used to believing. With a rural economy in tatters, a massive debt burden, and little hope of seeing an end to corruption, it is clear that the people's hopes and aspirations for clean governance has gone unheeded and is being taken for a ride. It is against this background the national campaign towards building a Sri Lanka free of corruption is launched. The island-wide campaign will see News First traverse the length and breadth of Sri Lanka across all 25 districts in an effort to demonstrate the people's unconditional consensus against corruption. The campaign, which will also see a symbolic vote against corruption, will penetrate deep into rural Sri Lanka while also touching all major urban centers. Stay tuned to News First as we keep you updated on this campaign and locations at which you too can take part.
News First national campaign Sri Lanka Free Against Corruption set out from the districts of Jaffna and Munaragala this morning. The campaign will showcase the common consensus of the general public against corruption.
The national campaign commenced at the Katharagama Sacred Grounds and the Veerama Kaliyamman Kovil in Nallur, Jaffna. The team in Katharagama obtained blessings after engaging in religious activities opposite the Kirivehera. They called on the chief incumbent of the Abhinavarama Vihare, Venerable Kapugama Saranatissa Thera, thereafter. The politicians should be travelling in normal vehicles. The politicians here should make some sacrifices. The reason could be about vehicles, or it could be about buildings, or the problem could be about other benefits. The people sacrifice a lot of things. The responsibility therefore of the politicians is to cut down on the benefits that they enjoy and do something for the people who are suffering. Mahatma Gandhi is a good example when talking about the development of the country. The team travelled in several areas in the Munaragala district during the day. Leaflets were handed out and the people were informed about building a Sri Lanka free of corruption.
මේක පරාද වෙලා වෙන එකක් ආවම පස්සේ මේක පරාද වෙලා ඉන්න තියෙන හොරු ටික ඒකට යනවා. මේ ආණ්ඩු කාලේ හොරුත් තිරියද මේ ආණ්ඩු මේ ආණ්ඩුකාරෙත් හොරු ඉන්නවා. විගණනයක් ඇතුව ඔප්පු කරගන්න බැරුවනේ ඉන්නේ.
The villagers of Valli Matagama have been battered by the lack of drinking water over a long period of time.
ආහන ගන්න කෝටි 200යි. එතකොට මේ ජනතාවට ඡන්දෙ මතක නැහැ. එතකොට අපි හරක්නේ. එතකොට ඇමතිලාට විතර අඩුපාඩුකම්. කෝටි දෙකක් කියන්නේ මේ පවුල් 30ක් 40ක් ඉන්නේ. අවුරුදු ගාණක් තිස්සේ අඬලා කිව්වා අපිට එන්න බෑ කියලා පොල්ලක් අරන් ගන්න වතුර නැතුව. අපිට දැන් කිව්වේ මේ ආණ්ඩුව ගන්න කලින් කිව්වා මාස 3ක් ඇතුළත ඔයාලට ඡන්දේ තියෙන වතුර ප්‍රශ්නේ විසඳලා දෙන්නම් කියලා. ඔයගොල්ලෝ මට කොස්සෙන් ගහන්නේ කියලා කිව්වා. දුන්නත් නම් අපිට කොස්සෙන් ගහන්නේ කියලා. දැන් මේ කොස්සෙන් ගහන්නේ කියපු මිනිසුත් නැහැ. වතුරත් නැහැ. අය වාහන ගන්න වෙලාවෙ මේ මිනිස්සුන්ට බොන්න වතුර ටිකක් දෙන්න බැරි ගමන්නේ.
The News First team encountered this wild elephant in the Gonagangarava village in Buttala. The people here expressed views regarding the politicos in the country.
Tomorrow we will begin our campaign from Vallavaya and proceed towards Hambantota as well. Our aim is to raise awareness among the general public about the corruption that is taking place all around us within the ranks of the public representatives who represent our country, who represent the future of our country. This is our attempt to drain the swamp. For News First, I'm Ramesh Rugal Bandara.
The team in the north commenced their campaign after religious activities at the Nallur Veerama Kaliyamman Kovil in Jaffna today. Then they travelled to Thaiddi, Kankasanture, Kurumbas City, Tellipalai, Mallagam, Vasavilan, Nelliyadi, Chunnakam and Mailatti.
We will be visiting areas such as Punkurutevu and Mandetivu and various other areas tomorrow in Jaffna as well before we move further east and south. As you know, there's a team in the south as well, and we will cover all 25 districts all across Sri Lanka over the next 30 days as we say no to corruption. Limited resources are in the hands of our public officials, and we want to ensure that all those resources are used effectively rather than wasting them on corruption. For the Newsfirst team from Jaffna, I'm Shehan Radakunda.
A group of parliamentarians representing the joint opposition met with the chief prelates of Askiri and Malvathu chapters today.
The MPs drew attention of the chief prelates to the delay in holding the local government elections.
පළාත් සභා මැතිවරණයත් අපේ හැමදෙරුවනේ කැබිනට් ඌ අනුමත කරලා තියෙනවා සංශෝධනය. මේ සංශෝධනයක් කියන්නේ නැවත පළාත් සභා මැතිවරණයක් ප්‍රමාද කරන්න තමයි කටයුතු කරන්නේ. සල්ලි නැති
There is a discussion these days on the rule of the Lichavi clan. Are we using this word with true understanding? The rule of the Lichavi clan was free of corruption and rule of law of fair and extreme. The person who has committed the wrong is the highest position. Therefore, justice must be met disregarding the positions they hold. When the bee takes nectar from a flower, it does not damage the flower. Similarly, taxes must be taken from the people, but in a manner that is not felt by them.
And with that, we're going for a short commercial break. Stay with News First. Welcome back to the news. Ceylon Petroleum Corporation trade union workers and train operators have decided to call off their planned strike action.
Ceylon Petroleum Corporation workers met with the President this morning at the Presidential Secretariat. The CPC trade unions were planning to launch strike action in protest over several issues, including the handing over of oil tanks in the Hambantota port to a Chinese company.
This has been signed with a clause that it can be amended at any time. It is with this condition that the Cabinet met today. Cabinet took the responsibility to discuss these amendments with the Chinese company.
The Colombo Additional Magistrate Ranga Disanayaka this morning released the 16 Ceylon Petroleum Corporation workers on personal bail of Rs 100,000 each. The magistrate ordered to revoke the warrants that were issued for their arrest. The case was adjourned until the 24th of August. Railway locomotive engineering operators have decided to temporarily call off their strike action scheduled for tonight following a discussion with the Deputy Minister. However, a group including the GMOA and the National Trade Union Centre have decided to carry out island-wide protests tomorrow. The main demand is the abolishing of SITEM. Measures were taken by the trade unions to educate the public today under the tagline People's Wall Against SITEM. These visuals were captured during this program.
We are fulfilling a national responsibility. This belongs to the people of the country who is pasting recipes. I think the government is doing this and looks like it has been planned. Stocks of our posters were taken over by the CID in Ampara, Matale and Putlam, and they were then sealed off.
The protest walk organised by student unions against SITEM reached Nelumdeniya from Mavanalla today. Heavy traffic congestion was reported along the Kandy Colombo road. The Ministry of Health announced all health services would be available at the Neville Fernando Hospital in Malabe free of charge.
Trade unions have made it a trend to protest on matters that do not even relate to them. That is a simple task. Even you can protest easily and cause a dysfunctional situation at the Pradesh Sabha and other institutions.
Venerable Vataraka Vijitathera was arrested for allegedly behaving in a violent manner outside the Presidential Secretariat this afternoon.
Venerable Wataraka Vijitathero arrived before the Presidential Secretariat this afternoon demanding security. Is this not something that the police have colluded with the priest? A high-ranking police officer just came and spoke to me. He told me when leaving that they too were moving out of the location as monks from the Bodubala Sena were coming here. You saw how they came here in 5 minutes. This is the person who said it. He's the one who said it. Venerable Galagoda Atteyana Sarathera could be seen inside the vehicle that brought another monk, Venerable Magal Kande Sudanta Thera. How is this done? Are the Bodubala Sena and the police one? Tell me, sir, how you made that comment with certainty? This is a conspiracy. Subsequently, the police took Venerable Wataraka Vijitathera into custody on the basis that he was acting in a manner that was obstructing the police from carrying out their duties. The Thera was admitted to the National Hospital after he was produced before the Judicial Medical Officer.
Problems much like the garbage keep mounting all across Sri Lanka. At a provincial level, instead of following proper procedures to recycle garbage, it is dumped in different locations.
The latest addition to the map of garbage in Sri Lanka is the Kotawila Garbage Mountain. About 5 acres of land were set aside in Kotawila Matara to set up institutions for the theatrical exhibition in 2015. Because it was not used for this purpose, the land became a garbage dump. Area residents say that all the garbage from Matara is being dumped here. Waterways used for irrigation purposes and wells in close proximity to these garbage mountains is a problem. Residents living near the Kotawila garbage dump have made several complaints to the relevant officials with no avail. Newsfirst correspondent said that the Southern Provincial Councillor Pasandayapa Apivardana arrived at the location to investigate the situation. The Matara Municipal Council said that the Kotawila land is being used as a garbage dump as there is no alternative in the area in which they can dispose of their waste. If the necessary steps are taken by the relevant officials to prevent the garbage epidemic from spreading, then we can stop Sri Lanka from transforming into a massive garbage dump in itself in the future.
A large number of weapons and explosives used during the war by terrorists remain unaccounted for. This remark was made by the Inspector General of Police at the Jaffna Police Headquarters.
The hundreds and thousands of weapons used by the terrorists have totally not handed over the police or the armed forces or destroyed. The attitude and the lifestyle where the youth have been used to and gone for a long time cannot be completely forgotten at once. Among the people and the police and the security forces, government officials, do we have the confidence, the reliability, dependability, faithfulness as we expected? So these are some of the main factors as reasons for this type of happening, especially in the north. Not in the east, but in the north. In any case, this cannot be tolerated. This has to be stopped.
Getsi Shanmugam, a Sri Lankan teacher who counseled war widows and orphans to overcome their nightmares, won this year's Ramon Magsaysay Awards. This award is regarded as Asia's version of the Nobel Prize. Newsfirst Sonali Vanikabaduge was able to talk to Getsi Shanmugam.
From the time you were 17 plus until today, you've been teaching, you've been imparting knowledge, you've been nurturing thousands and thousands of children. Madam, my question to you is, how do you persevere? How do you emerge resilient throughout every day?
This word resilient is a big word, you know. We don't realize every human being has that beautiful power of resilience. Even with all those people I worked there, today they are there. Some are leaders, some are doing something, some are, you know, getting along in life because they have this built-in power of resilience.
You can watch the full interview with Getsi Shanmugam on our website www.Newsfirst.lk. And with that, we go in for another commercial break. In sports news, Sri Lanka Cricket today announced the squad for the second test against India, which will be played from the 3rd to the 7th of August at the Sinhalese Sports Club in Colombo.
Dinesh Chandimal will captain his side following his absence in the first test, while Lahiru Thirimana returns to the squad after a span of 1 year.
Suranga Lakmal has been omitted from the squad and has been replaced by spinner Lakshan Sandakan.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's news. Thank you for joining us. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Nicola De Zoiza.
And I'm Sharon Silva. Take care and good night.